Our first step to solving this problem, or finding the intersection point of these two lines, is to first label our equations with equation 1 and equation 2. Second, I'm noticing that neither equation has an x equals and then the rest of the stuff, or a y equals and then the rest of the expression. So our first step is to actually make that happen. And to make my job a bit easier, I'm going to look for a coefficient of 1 in front of one of the variables. So I have a coefficient of 2, a -3, a 2, and a -1. So the -1 is easier than the other one, so I'm going to solve equation number 2 for the y. So we're going to solve for that, or we can say rearrange for it. So we're solving equation 2, solve equation 2 for y. We want to get y all by itself, and then we can substitute it into the other equation. So I have 2x take away y equals 7. Now, the first step to getting y alone is we want to undo the adding and subtracting stuff. We have a plus 2x. We're going to subtract that 2x away from both sides. And when we do that, it eliminates it from that side, and we have still a minus y. The side comes down with it. And then 7, take away 2 x's. From here, we don't quite have our positive y yet. We have a -1y. So to undo that -1 in front of the y, we're going to divide by -1 on both sides. And in doing so, it actually means that we're dividing every term by -1. So what we have now is that y is equal to 7 divided by -1 is -1. And then we're taking away a -2x. The double sign here, taking away and then the negative, is going to make that a plus 2x. Now we could turn this around if we like it to have a positive first. We could change that to be the plus 2x first and then the takeaway or -7. The takeaway or subtract 7. Now we have our y equals. We're ready to do our substitution. We're going to substitute y equals 2x minus 7 into, and then we look at what we've been working with. This all came from equation 1. All the work above, all of this came from equation number 2. Sorry, I misread my own writing up here. It's not as neat on the iPad. So I know that this is all from equation 2. So I have to put this stuff into equation number 1, the opposite equation. Equation number 1 is 2x's minus 3y's, or 3 times y, equals 6. And where we see, back it up for a minute, equals 6. Where we see the y, we're going to replace the y with the expression that we have here. 2x's minus 7 is going to go where the y is. So in brackets here, we're putting the 2x minus 7, and that's equal to 6. And continuing on, we know to solve an equation with brackets in it, we're going to need to expand that minus 3 through the bracket. A takeaway 3 times 2 is take away 6 with the x. And then we're going to be taking away 3 times the minus 7. Taking away a minus will be plus. And then 3 times 7 is 21. And that's equal to 6. Now I'm looking for like terms that I might be able to put together, which right here I have 2 x's and I'm going to take 6 x's away. That's resulting with 4 x's plus the 21 still equals 6. Now I can start solving for my x. I'm going to undo the plus 21 by subtracting 21 because we're doing SAM-DEB when we solve. Bedmiss backwards, get rid of the adding and subtracting first. That means this piece goes away, leaving us with minus 4x being equal to, and then if we do 6 take away 21, the answer for that is -15. Now, to get x by itself, it's being multiplied by -4. We're going to divide both sides by -4. And we're left with x equals, so the -4's cancel each other out, or undo each other. A negative divided by negative, overall, oops, if I have a negative divided by a negative, that's going to be a positive. And I'm just going to leave this in fraction form. You could take it to a decimal. If you take it to a decimal, 15 divided by 4. Well, 15 will go into, or 4 would go into 12 3 whole times, but then there would be 3 left over, or 0.75. So if you go to a decimal, we're at 3.75, 3 3/4, or $3.75. Now, we've got our x-coordinate for our point of intersection. We still need to get the y-coordinate, so I'm going to move up here. To get the y-coordinate, we're going to take that value of x, we're going to sub x equals 15 over 4, or you could use the 3.75, and we're going to substitute that value into equation number 2, or back here where we had solved for y. So we already have the work of y equals. We may as well use that. We're going to sub it into y equals 2x minus 7. All right, so we're going to replace the x with the 15 over 4, and it's 2 times x, so now it's 2 times 15 over 4. Take away 7, and then if I multiply, I get 30 over 4. So 30 over 4, and then we have our take away 7. Now, you could do that on your calculator. I'm going to use my built-in calculator, which is kind of my brain here. 30 divided by 4, both of those are even numbers. I'm going to reduce that by factors of 2, divide both the top and the bottom by 2 to make that 15 over 2. Take away, now this is 7 over 1. Let me do that in a different color. 7 over 1, but I'm going to need a common denominator of 2 so I can put it together with this. So I'm going to times by 2 on top and bottom, and I'm going to end up with a 14 over 2. And then if I have 15 take away 14, that's 1 over 2. So now I have my solution. Therefore the solution is x comes before y, so I need my 15 over 4 first, comma, and then the y coordinate is a half. So that's the point at which these two lines would intersect each other. That one would be really hard to see or to tell accurately from solving this by graphing. So hopefully you understand that and you can be successful on your practice questions.